What's up, you filthy flapjacks? My name is Wes, and you're listening to the Ear Coffee Podcast. For today's episode, I got to chat with Jack Pfeffer of Jack Pfeffer Band fame. Jack and his close collaborator Elijah talked about the creation of This Morning's Face, his brand new record. With a sound inspired heavily by the 70s, the album is his most ambitious yet. Without further ado, here's my interview with Jack and Elijah on the Ear Coffee Podcast. How are you guys doing this Friday afternoon?
Good, how are you? Good.
I'm good. Excited to chat with y'all after trying to plan it for a hot minute.
Yes, months in the making.
Yeah. So I like to start and end interviews, kind of bookend them in a similar way, and I'm always really interested to hear what are your first memories of music, like really connecting with it, whether it was when you were a kid or a little later. Because obviously as people who make music and have made a lot of it over the years, there's a connection there. You really love it. Was there a time when you really first, it just kind of hit you that you love music as much as you do?
Well, for me, I really love Guitar Hero, so I would just be shredding Guitar Hero basically 24/7, and then I got my first guitar in 4th grade. Had been playing, like Smoke on the Water for a few years, and then once I moved from Phoenix to Minneapolis, I spent a lot of time on just playing music all the time, and I got more into music then.
Yeah, Elijah?
When I was younger, I used to play the drums. I started on the drums, and I eventually, in middle school, I picked up the piano because I just was kind of fascinated with it. And then from there, it just kind of spiraled out of control, and I started picking up singing again and guitar. So
yeah, so it was kind of a natural progression to start recording the stuff you were making and putting it out.
Yep.
Yeah. How did you two meet? And we'll get a little bit more into this later, but just connect with the rest of the guys who form the live Jack Pfeffer Band setup, even if it's mostly Jack and Elijah, you two in the studio.
Yep. Well, so the first person I met in the group was Teddy, and we had our first band together, and that was in high school. And then through that band, I also met Elijah, who was also, and so yeah, just through high school, and kind of the local scene over at our high school, which is really small, so it was really easy to find other musicians over here.
Yeah. Well, how did you I guess keep adding people, because you have I think 5 or 6 people in the band now, the live band, I should say, or is it just 5?
It right now, so there's Elijah, Riley, and Teddy and I are the main group.
Okay. I was tacking Sutton, the saxophonist, on, I guess, but that's just, I guess, more recent.
Yeah. He doesn't come to every show, but
yeah,
with the pandemic, the whole shutdown, he'd been saxophone for a while.
Yeah, cool. What made you actually want to start putting your music online? Because it started in 5 years ago, putting out just solo recorded EPs on Bandcamp with Slime and Plastic Jacket. Those are both entirely Jack.
Deep cuts, yeah. That was just me out of boredom. Well, I first was just ripping AC/DC looping and stuff like that, and then I once I got more into music and discovering other than just radio rock and what other people have been making, I started trying to just make more intricate loops and develop them into songs and stuff like that. And that's basically what those early Plastic Jacket were, just kind of early recording, just loops basically.
Okay. And did you kind of, does that influence your, like the way you write your songs, like with even now with a full band or at least more collaborators?
Kinda. Well, typically up until I guess more recent me, but now every now and then I'll have Elijah come in and we'll work and write stuff together, or he'll drop some vocals on some tracks or stuff like that. That the first instance of that I think it was on like Blue Love, but then with Night Drive was like when he really started getting more involved with recording with me and stuff.
Was that due to just kind of, you'd been around each other, been working together for a little bit of time by then, got more comfortable?
Yeah, and like there'll be moments where I'm like stumped, like I just don't know really where to go with the song or anything, and I'll be like, gotta get Elijah in the stew, see if we can work around this, get something out. Yeah, so he's just like the other brain when it comes to some songs.
Elijah, what's it like coming in kind of to Jack's songs and almost not quite being a fixer, but like kind of coming in midway and adding your touch and adding whatever Jack can't seem to find? What's that kind of like for you?
I feel like it works well for me because I'm not like a good finisher of songs myself. So when I can work on his stuff, it's like we can work pretty hard and get it done. So
yeah, cool. We already kind of covered those singles, and then Blue Love was the first, I guess, more official release, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How did your mindset going into that kind of as a first formal project, if that's even how you're thinking of it at the moment, how does that compare to This Morning's Face, which is the record you put out today, and it's been about 2 years? I guess.
Yeah.
How do the processes for those two differ for each of you?
Well, see, so with Blue Love and all that early stuff, I kind of treat Blue Love as an early thing just because I was in high school. It was just more of that was just like it's still a hobby, but I was just still just kind of messing around. I wasn't taking it as seriously, where this one I really, it took a long time. I just really wanted to perfect it and make sure. Like there was some stuff on like Blue Love and earlier shit where I was like, yeah, this doesn't sound like that right, but I'll still put it out. Whereas this, I really like honed in and like was very much so a perfectionist when it came to certain things. And I think that's why it took so long for me, because I wanted to make sure the release was right, and I didn't want to. I just put all my time into trying to perfect it as much as I could, and then obviously it came to the point where I was just ready to put it out, and it just felt right. And yeah, I'd say the first release, like once Night Drive came out, and once I got really good like reception from that, that's when I was like, well, now that I did that, I have to try to make it better than this, try to switch it up, provide more music, etc.
Yeah. Yeah, is your perspective on Blue Love versus This Morning's Face kind of the same? Where?
Oh
yeah. Okay, cool.
With Blue Love, I kind of felt like I like all the songs on there, but he still has like an issue with hearing them over again because he listened to them so much. But
yeah,
I don't know. They both feel like pretty like full projects to me. So I mean, I'm pretty proud of Jack for.
Yeah. Supportive. That's awesome. With This Morning's Face, we'll dive in a little bit. Why did you add? I'm biased as a saxophonist myself, so I'm just curious. Why did you want to work with a saxophonist, or did that just kind of naturally happen? Just getting some sax solos on a couple tracks.
Well, see, I always try to change the vibe of each thing I work on. So like I guess I really start well, I compare Night Drive was like kind of an indie pop, like I added like some drum machine in there, and then for the new record I wanted it to be kind of like soft rocky, kind of like T-Rex type stuff, and all the old '70s songs. Like
Yeah.
there was a point where like it was just all about the sax, not like the shredding guitar solos and or stuff like that. So I just wanted to add more depth to the songs, to add some sax.
It's tight. Who did the guest vocals on
Thank you.
Grow So Old? Because that was just a really kind of cool and unexpected moment when just a new voice comes in.
Oh yeah, that's Brienne, and she also does. She did the art for previous. She designed the T-shirts, and so she's also like a part of like the Pfeffer clique.
The cinematic universe, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Would I know? Like, I think it was just on like the tapes, or maybe it was just on like one of the releases, like teasing up to it. It was like billed as a co-write, like everything written by the two of you. Would you say that This Morning's Face has been a bit more of a partnership between you two, even if it's still under like Jack's name and Jack is taking the lead, or is it still pretty supplementary?
Well, I would say it's definitely still his. He's taking the lead because I'm only on 2 songs.
Okay.
So like, but I definitely I feel like I helped him be as much of a perfectionist. So.
Yeah, well, see, when I'd finish a song, I'd usually just like listen to it and share it once it's out. But with this, I was really like, I wanted feedback from people, so I'd send it to the band and be like, "How is this terrible or not?" And so I was more I'd reach out to ask for feedback, but the recording process, I'd say. I still wrote and recorded everything on my own, and then every once in a while, like Teddy played some percussion on 2 songs, and Elijah sang, Brianna sang a bit. My friends Jake and Nolan just did a little. Nolan played keyboard on a track, just random little features, but writing and recording and arranging and all of that stuff, I'd say that's all stuff that I did.
Yeah. Since basically everything that is actually recorded and ends up on the records is recorded by you, like 90% or something, whatever you'd say, why did you find yourself creating and like forming a more formal band, like instead of just having like people come into the studio, lay down something on a track or two, and just kind of a more informal collaboration, but you still have like the Jack Pfeffer band? Is that just kind of you wanted to play live shows and needed people? And these were your friends?
So I'd say I really love working on my own, and I like being able to, since I have access to a drum kit and all these instruments and like my own space here, I just like being able to do everything on my own. But then it is awesome to be able to send it to the band, and I'd say the live band, obviously the songs are the same, but it does sound a little different, and I like that it's able to come to life, obviously, but then it's also a little bit different, and Teddy's just an incredible drummer, and I just like being able to perform it live with the group of people, but then I think it's just a personal choice. I just like being able to do everything on my own and just have the creative control over it.
Yeah. With the band, and even if like you write everything, like you write all the drum parts, guitar lines, is there a specific reason why you still want to record them and perform them yourself instead of just having the band play exactly what you wrote and you're still retaining that creative control?
I guess it just goes back to the personal choice thing. I just like I guess I'm just kind of an independently creative person like that, I guess. I just like being able to do everything on my own. And I'm just it's just comfortable to do that because even before I met Teddy and because I'd been making music before I even knew any other friends that played music, so it's just comfortable for me to be able to do everything on my own because I've just been doing it longer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so for this morning's face, you kind of talked about how you really wanted to perfect the songs. Talk a little bit about your mindset when writing it and coming up with the songs and kind of how you managed to hone each one down to how you wanted it to sound, or I guess what we're listening to today.
Yeah. Well, so recording that, what I would really compare production-wise, I really wanted to get the sounds of like early 70s, almost kind of glam rock. Like I really listened to again. Also, why I wanted the saxophone, just because those songs just like have epic sax. So I would just listen to kind of that, and I just loved honing in on the way they recorded that, and that was all analog recording, just dry sound, not too overproduced. Just I just really loved the sounds on all those records.
Yeah, what about writing the songs? Like, what was your process for writing those? Do you come up with like your lyrics first? Because it feels like the kind of like the vocals and lyrics are just another instrument. They're like kind of just part of the palette. So yeah, what was your process like for actually composing and coming up with the songs before bringing them into the studio?
I'm always one to always add, which is I'm found that like as of now I've kind of running into a problem because I like being able to I want to change up my writing process and just be able to mess around with different kind of writing styles. But for this record, it's just been all songs and instrumental, and then I'll kind of marinate, let the vocals and lyrics kind of settle in. But yeah, it's always been for me to have the music first.
Cool. Were there any like specific records that really inspired the sound? I know you just talked a lot about like the 70s and like T-Rex, but like what records were you specifically like keeping in rotation when first writing the songs?
I loved Ziggy Stardust and Hunky Dory and Electric Warrior by T-Rex. I really loved that one. Steely Dan, Can't Buy a Thrill, obviously, just classic.
Yeah.
Some good bad rock. Asia by Steely Dan, just awesome production. So those are the ones that was like my primary focus of like I want my drums to be able to sound like that.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Cool. What were your favorite moment? What was your favorite moment or moments from the creation and recording of This Morning's Face? If you have like a couple moments you can pinpoint and Slash. And Elijah, you can get in on this too if you have any specific favorite memories.
Oh yeah.
Well, mine, I'd say I do love having, like, when there are the guest collaborators in the studio or featured artists, like, recording saxophone was super fun for me because that was the first time I'd ever done it, and it was just awesome to find, like, because I'd been hearing the saxophone in my head, like, over those songs forever, and then finally actually being able to hear it and record it, that was awesome. Being able to record with Elijah and Teddy, and just getting the guest vocals and stuff like that. What about you?
Is this like our favorite thing about
making? favorite moment in the making?
I really liked the time we spent making There You Are. It was a fun song. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the ones you kind of co-wrote, I guess, was the billing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So that makes sense then. Again, I'm going to double down on the sax parts because I'm biased. But did you write those on like
wow.
a MIDI or something, or like was that just Sutton came in? And...
I just I had Sutton come over and I was just looping that part that I wanted the sax on, and I would just play some guitar. Basically, essentially what he ended up playing, but just as a guitar solo, and he would just try to listen by ear how it would sound.
Hell yeah, that's sick.
And obviously throw some improvisations in there, but yeah, he just came up with the song, the sax parts laid down.
That's cool. Yeah. You mentioned this before a little bit, that the music releasing these albums is still kind of just a hobby or a side thing, even if you really put a lot of time and effort into This Morning's Face. What are your goals with the project? Is it still kind of just always going to be a side thing where you just get that creative fulfillment and work with some friends and put out music, or?
Yeah. Well, I'll always be. I hope I'll always be working on music, and I was really looking forward to the summer. Like a lot of bands, obviously, that were hoping to be playing more shows, so that was kind of a letdown. Obviously, the cancellation of shows and stuff like that, but it is just fun for me to be able to basically just hang out with my friends, play music, play for other people. So I guess my goal is just to keep doing what I'm already doing, and just hopefully people enjoy the music, and yeah, I guess my goal is just to have people to become Pfeff heads, just listen to the music, get some feedback. Hopefully they enjoy what I am putting out.
Yeah, just making music for the Pfeff heads. You got it here first.
Yeah.
That's funny. Since you mentioned like everything's been shut down, no shows, but what are your plans for the future for the Jack Pfeffer band? Are you, since you're able to kind of home record everything, have you been writing a lot more, or just kind of taking it chill until this record comes out, which would be fair?
I actually benefited a lot from that first, just with my time. I thought that since I'd have a lot of time, I would just feel kind of stuck and not really be able to go in any direction creatively. But I was able to get a lot done writing wise, so I have been working on a lot of stuff. But I guess, the other thing too is we were trying to figure out, we wanted to get like a big studio, thing going so we could all start recording. So it would be more of a collaborative project. Mm-hmm. So I do want to start, working with more musicians and, still have my solo thing, but I still an end goal is definitely to be able to collaborate with more musicians and artists and the whole spiel, whole everything.
Yeah, well, that'll hopefully come to fruition, and we'll hear it sometime soon.
Yeah,
but it doesn't seem like we're going anywhere.
Hopefully,
so.
Yeah. Sadly.
Yeah. All right, that's the end of the more formal questions, but I love hearing about what the bands, what people I talk to, what they've been listening to. So outside of those 70s records you mentioned that you were listening to, what are some of your favorite recent releases or records and songs that you just discovered, local or otherwise? This is for both of you, too.
Oh, the new Krungbin album. I forget what it's. Mordecai. So good. They scored a Corona ad Like they're blowing up from this record. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So I like that. What kind of music I really like?
Just like what recent records and artists?
What was the Yusuf Kamal one that just came out?
Wu Hen
Wu Hen
by Kamal Williams.
Oh yes.
That's a good one.
I'm trying to think.
Usually this is the part where people need to pull out their Spotifys or something, so feel free to take a sec.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to whip out the phone. Haircut by Home Shake, the Bandcamp exclusive release. It's like a little EP that I love that. Been listening to a lot of Jerry Paper. That's what I've just been listening to a lot of that Krungbin, Jerry Paper, the new modern jazz stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Lately, I've been listening to a lot of the Free Nationals album.
Oh, that's also
Right.
so good.
Some other classic Anderson .Paak tunes, and then a lot of jazz, a lot of newer jazz, not like old swing jazz, but like modern, like London jazz is really good.
Oh, the London scene's incredible. Yeah. I'd recommend
Yeah.
Sons of Kemet if you're into that. They're a bit weirder, but
Sons of Kemet.
yeah, they got like a tuba and everything. It's sick.
I like weird.
That'll be my one input though. Sick. Cool. It was really great talking to you guys. That's
All right, I'll
Here's
check
the
them out.
end of everything. If you want to plug the band's social media really quick, because you can do it better than I can, then we can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Twitter at Jack Pfeffer. Instagram, my personal is Jack Pfeffer _ band account Jack Pfeffer Music. Elijah's got an Instagram.
Herkert. EHERCHERT.
I don't really know. I guess my Snapchat at Jack _leg. If anyone's trying to add me on Snap.
Definitely the first
Jack Pfeffer
Snapchat.
Music.
First Snapchat plug on the podcast.
Your Snapchat plug at Jack _leg. If anyone's trying to add me.
This Morning's Face is out now wherever you listen to music, so give it a listen, stream it. I think, can you buy it on Bandcamp yet?
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's tapes available. All purchases, all money is going towards charity.
Yeah, definitely check that out then. That's sick. Well, yeah, again, it was great talking to you two. Congrats on the album.
Thank you.
Sweet. Yeah, thanks again.
The Ear Coffee Podcast is a companion to the blog of the same name. If you like this episode, please leave us a rate and review so we can stand out among the other music podcasts. You can follow us at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Ear Coffee. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.